Okay guys, welcome back. So I have primed and prepped her nails. So as you can see, they have a little bit of a sheen to them. That's the Affix-It, which is a protein bonder. And that has had about a minute to dry, so that's ready to go. So I'm going to use my base coat, and what I'm using on her is OptiBond. You can use Adhere. I just, actually I have some right here. So if you're using the Performance line and you want to use Adhere, you can use Adhere, or you can use OptiBond. It's just preference. They have a little bit different viscosity, a little bit different tackiness, and a little bit different flexibility. So just preference. So what I'm going to do is we are going to give her a little bit of an exciting bonus underlayer, which means we are giving her a bit of a red look, which will be really fun under her nails. Let me see if I can pull the video up, so if you guys have questions, Lorraine is going to relay them to me. So one of the ways that you can do this is you can do it in one step here. If her nails were going to be relatively short, I would actually just apply base coat down here, and I would put the underlayer just straight onto the base coat. But I want to create a little bit more of a base layer of hard gel, just because she's going to be wearing these rather long, and so I want to have a nice gradual layer also to put my color on. So I'm just going to throw on my OptiBond. You don't have to scrub it into the nail. You don't have to make it all glossy. You can see the texture in the nail still. That's what you want. You just want to get it on the nail and get it in the light. So go ahead and put that in, please. So same here. Just a quick brush on to the natural nail. So this is kind of one of those fun things as to, you know, most clients don't get full sets ever. Like once you've got a full set, they don't really need to get a full set again. Lorraine gets them occasionally for a couple of reasons. Her nails tend to hook down quite a bit, and she wears them really, really long. So as her nails grow out, every now and then a full set's just nice, because then we can get that nice straight out nail, and also to do fun things like this so that she can do an undercolor. So last fall, I believe, we did a gold underneath hers, and so that took quite a while for it to grow out, but now it was nothing under it, so it's time to do it again. Yes, so this is Louboutin Nails. So what I'm using now is Enhance. So this is part of our Performance line. It's just an LED gel, and I'm just going to apply this very thin. I'm not really going to put anything onto the natural nail very much, but I'm just creating a nice thin base layer and something where I can have a base onto the entire nail, because what I'm going to be putting on here next is going to be the color, and I want to have the color go onto a hard base. Just want to make sure my form is in the right spot there. And so I'm always going to make it longer than what I think I'm going to need, because you don't want to have to add more later, and it's very easy to remove what you don't want. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of pushing gel right up to the natural nail line to kind of eliminate that ledge right there a little bit. So I'm going to apply here. Oh, I just totally caught it on my form. Okay, so very thin on the nail, not much onto the nail plate itself. It's not really my goal with this step. This step is to create just a base to put your color. If you're using something like a competition white that is super highly pigmented, or whatever gel you're using, if you find that it's not, the white doesn't cure super well when you do a new set, this is one trick that you can do to help eliminate that problem. Do a base layer of a clear gel first, doesn't have to be thick, and what it will serve as is a clear form. So your white gel will be able to continue curing after you take the form off and you do your filing or whatever. It's going to continue curing from underneath, and so you are able to get a really good solid cure that way by just creating a clear form out of gel. I personally don't like the clear forms that Okay, so I just noticed that this form was tilted down too much. It should be coming straight out or up. So what you can do is don't take your form all the way off. Just loosen it on the sides and tilt it up until it gets to where you need it to be. And now it's coming straight out or having a little bit slightly in and up. So you don't have to form all the way off. Just loosen your side walls and pull it up to where you need it, and then you can continue on. So quick little trick for form adjustment. So again, I'm just doing a quick clear base here. This is enhanced from the performance line. If you prefer the classic gel line, you can do this with natural if you wanted to. I like the thinner viscosity, so the kind of sister to enhance in the classic line would be Tri-Light, which is a thin viscosity 3-in-1 gel. But if you have a UV light, it will cure this, or it'll cure the classic. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Okay, just going to cover this real quick. Yeah, Allie, the gold and red, they were really pretty. I think Lorraine liked them too.
I did. They're Christmassy. When did I get them? It wasn't even around Christmas.
They were Christmassy, but it wasn't Christmas.
Well, I always do that. I'm backwards.
Well, Christmas is a lovely time of the year. I'm excited for Christmas this year. I have used my master powers of miles, and we are going really far away for Christmas. I'm going to start a blog on using miles and Airbnbs to travel cheap.
For $26 and stuff.
Yeah, I did. I got flights, so we have 3 flights for me, my husband, and my daughter to Munich, round trip, and I paid $105 total per person.
Diane said, any chance you might bring product with you next week since I forgot to put enhance?
Just let me know what you need. Yeah, when I come to Idaho or anytime I'm coming to do a class in your area, if you need anything, just let me know ahead of time and I'll bring it. I would have to rent a truck to bring everything, so I don't read minds. So let me know what you need and I will be more than happy to bring it with you, with me. So you do get a little bit of enhance in your kit, but it's not much to do a lot of what I do. It's just this little jar. But you do get one in your kit. So if you didn't know, I am doing a class in Lewiston, Idaho. It's right on the border of Washington and Idaho. Is it next weekend? I think it's next weekend. And I'm doing 3 classes. So I'm doing all 3. The gel play, sculpturing, as well as the Luxio. So I'll show you guys 30-day manicure techniques and a lot of the art techniques that I do in the salon. And we'll do lots of that kind of stuff. If you want more information on the classes that are upcoming, just go to lovenails.com and go to the education section and you can register for classes there. I'm also doing a class because I sold out of the last hard gel class that I did. So I made another class right before the one show. It's not advertised all over the place, but I will be doing a class the day before the one show. So if you haven't already signed up for a workshop and you wanted to take the performance hard gel class where I go over things like this, that is also available and you can take a look at that online. Alright, so what I've done is just created this base layer of enhance on all of the nails, and go ahead and cure that and come back out. And we are going to use Vintage, which is one of my favorite reds. There's 2 reds that I would use for this. I would either use Vintage or I would use Classy. Classy is a darker, more blue red. Do you have a preference? Yeah. So this is what I do with my clients. I go, okay, do you have a preference? And I just get them both out. Sometimes I let you. Sometimes I let you choose. Okay. So this is Vintage and this is Classy. Preference?
No preference.
All right, first person to say what you want gets it. Let's see, does anyone have a preference? Classy, Vintage, Classy?
Classy, Vintage.
So no preference?
Vintage.
Vintage. All right, Rachel Dye. Rachel Dye wins. Vintage it is. It is a good red. So this is what I use for competitions as well. All right. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just creating her free edge here out of vintage, and it's just a thin 2 coats. You can either do one thicker coat because it will cure all the way through, or you can do 2 coats. For the length of nail that we're doing here, I just recommend 2 coats. Sometimes it's easier just to do quick coats and do it thinner than it is to try to gob on a ton of gel and try to make it smooth and try to make it even and try to make the color good. All of that comes into play. So if you just get it on, it's a lot easier. We're going to be covering these, so I'm not really concerned with what it's going to look like on top. So you can be all kind of perfect and try to make a perfect smile line. It's going to be covered. Unless you're creating a French, if you're not covering this with glitter and design and whatnot, that's fine. I am. So when she comes back in and we remove, see, I missed a little bit of the enhance right there. Did you guys see that? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop some in here like that, and I will cover it with the red on the second coat in that spot. All right, go ahead. So as I was saying, it doesn't have to be, whenever she comes in, we'll remove her old product and you'll see this red as it grows out, but then we're going to be covering it up with color anyway. So you don't have to waste time trying to make a perfect smile line or anything like that. What you want is that from the underneath, you've got this nice bright red showing up. So it's a perfect creamy red. And today I'm going to use the performance line to build her extension. So I'm going to use structure. So if you haven't seen structure before, stick around and I will show you how I build a nail with structure. I'll probably split this video and I'll log in. I try not to make the videos too long, so that way if someone has no interest in seeing how I do the red, but they want to see how structure works, they don't have to fast forward through a whole 20-minute video or something. Okay, go on switch. Now this is, I came in late. Do you have that on hard gel? I have a very, Sandy, I have a very thin layer of hard gel. If you look at the side of this right now, you can see that there isn't very much. You can even see that her natural nail actually sits up a little bit higher. So I did a very thin layer of enhance. And the reason you don't want to make it thick is because if you do your layer of gel underneath this too thick, when you go to file it, you can end up filing through it, and that would be very sad. So you want your layer underneath your color to be very, very thin. So I just did a very thin layer of enhance on top of my base coat. My base coat's on the natural nail. And then I'm just building this onto her nail. And again, it can look as messy as it needs to be because it's all going to file down. You know, if you're going to be taking hours to do a full set, you want to try to cut some time when you can. So when you're doing nails this long, it takes some good time. So don't spend a bunch of time trying to make your red perfect. It doesn't need to be. And what you could do for even more fun is if you wanted it to be like sparkly through the red, like I have a glass on my nail right now and there's sparkle underneath it. See how you can see that this red right now is a little bit translucent? You can actually cover this with a sparkle and you'll get a subtle sparkle through the red as well. So you can kind of play around with it and decide what you want as you goes along. On the natural nail, this comes out very solid, but when you're doing it on clear, as you can see, you do get a little bit of a clear to it, depending on how thick you apply it. But I'm trying not to overdo it. Alright, so once I get this in the light, I am going to build her nail out of structure. And I typically will use 2 coats, so I'm not only going to use structure, I'm going to use a bit of balance. So I'm going to show you guys those gels and how they work to build out a new extension. And I'm going to do that in a new video just so that if someone finds this on YouTube, they don't have to watch the whole thing if they don't want to. But if you'd like to, it will be up in just a moment. So hopefully you will join me in a moment. So this is a solvent gel polish, solvent-free. I almost said solvent gel polish. Solvent-free gel polish, meaning it's 100% gel. So I can add quite a bit of gel on this nail, and it's going to completely cure. You're not going to have to worry about anything shrinking and wrinkling. So that's why I was loading it up. All right, I'll be back in a minute with how to use structure and balance.